Hello and welcome to this video on MAC addresses. If you haven't already seen my videos, my name is Oda Stubbs. This is my YouTube channel explaining network concepts. Please like the video if you like it, subscribe so you see more of my videos, and if you have a suggestion, leave a comment down below. Okay, so let's get straight into what a MAC address is. So MAC, just like IP, is an acronym, and it means Media Access Control. Okay, and it's pretty much functioning just like the IP address. You need a source and a destination to tell you who the packet's coming from and who it's going to. So here we see they've all got a MAC address configured. Okay, keep in mind you wouldn't usually configure the MAC address. Okay, you would probably go into your settings and set an IP address or use a special protocol that discovers one. But the MAC address, and they often call it a burnt-in address, should never change. You can technically spoof it, but it is a fixed address associated with the actual network card that's in your computer. Whereas the IP address is more of a logical construct that can change. So I like to think of your MAC address like your name. Okay, that shouldn't change. Okay, your name isn't going to change throughout your lifetime. The computer's MAC address isn't going to change. Okay, the IP address is like where it is. So where you are, right, what house you're in, what street address you're on, will change as you go between houses. But so just like that, the IP address is sort of saying where you are. Where on this, as I explained in the IP address, there's the mask, and instead of representing the mask like this, as I did in the IP address video, I represented the mask like this. You could also represent that as /24. And I won't go into too much depth, but the idea is that each of these blocks in binary technically is 8 binary characters. And if you count up how many ones there are, because this is the full value, 255, that would mean that that octet here looks like this. That is 8 characters, that would be 16, and that would be 24. So you can also write it as /24. That's just shorthand for 255.255.255.0. Okay, so here the IP address shows us what network we're on and then what host we are. But it's sort of like it's sort of like where you are, right? Because it would change if you went to a different network. This is like who you are. Okay, so that's sort of the difference between them. I'll make another video showing you sort of the life of a packet traveling through some routers and showing you how these values change. But for now, this video is just on the basic format. Okay, and as I said in the OSI model, MAC addresses live at layer 2 of this model, just so you know that it's at layer 2. Okay, so let's look at the format of the MAC address, or the Media Access Control address. So it's 12 hexadecimal characters. Instead of, here we were using decimal, with this we're using hexadecimal. Hexadecimal, I'm not going to go into the details of hexadecimal. You can look that up, or maybe I'll make a video on that. But that, instead of ranging from 0 to 9, as decimal does, hexadecimal ranges from, as I've said here, 0 to F. So it actually incorporates letters. So it takes a bit to get your head around it, because it's sort of weird using letters to represent numbers. But computer science topics use this a lot. Okay, hexadecimal. So the format is 12 of them. Sometimes people format the address a bit differently. IP addresses usually always look like this, right? But a MAC address, sometimes people use dashes or colons, or sometimes they group them differently. But the idea is it's just 12 hex digits. It doesn't matter the way you put the dots. The computer doesn't care about the dots. That's just how humans can differentiate it. And so here it shows you the parts of the MAC address. So half of it, right, the first 6, is going to be the same for the same vendor. Like if Dell makes a bunch of network interface cards, all these first 6 will be the same. Then the last ones will be identifying the specific network interface card. As I said here, NIC specific. So this is sort of like the name of the company making it. And then this is like the specific NIC that they've made, that company has made. So there's 2 parts. A lot of these addresses sort of have 2 parts. Like the IP address has the part that shows you the network and the part that shows you the host. The MAC address has the part that shows you the company that made it. So you could go on a website and look up the first 6, and you'd probably find what company is associated with that. And then it's got the actual individual portion here that'll change. Okay, and then here I've just sort of showed you when a packet is constructed, the source in this case would be, I've just shortened it, but it would be all A's, right? And then the destination would be the C computer. Now, to discover this, there's a special protocol called ARP. I'm not going to go into the details of ARP in this video, but ARP discovers the MAC address. Then we can slap it as the destination when we encapsulate at layer 2. Okay, this will be shipped. The switch will actually, I'm not going to go into the details on a switch, but the switch essentially has a table that associates each MAC with a port. So it'll say, you know, port 1, A lives off 1, port 2, C lives off 2. I'm not going to go into the details, like I said, but the idea is that it somehow gets to the end device. That device, then when it wants to send something back, simply flips it around. So it's coming from C now going to A. Okay? So I'll go in more depth of how the two IP and MAC work together in real packets. But now let's just end this by looking at this capture software as I have used in a few of my other videos. Let's get rid of this. And we can see here I've captured a packet and we're looking at the packet details. And here's the model. Remember, there's the 7 layers. Okay. When we look at it in Wireshark, we're looking at it the other way around. Okay, so we're looking, and Wireshark doesn't show all 7 because sometimes it's a shortened model, but we're looking, the top is down here, then layer 4, layer 3, and layer 2. Okay, and then layer 1, you can't really represent that. That's just the idea of shipping it across some sort of medium. But here, Ethernet, we're using MAC addresses, layer 2. Okay, we can see the destination and the source. Okay, so first half is actually specific to the vendor. This half is unique. And then here the source, same idea. First half is vendor specific, and then the second half is unique. There's some other special bits that are flipped, but you don't need to worry about that. You just need to know that it's in the Ethernet header at layer 2, and there's a source and destination, just like with IP, source and destination. So I hope you learned something new about MAC addresses in this video. If you, like I said, liked it, please like the video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.